Slay the Spire sits comfortably atop its throne amongst the roguelike deck-building world, but there is a new contender coming out this year, and we got to have a little sneak peek. Aces and Adventures is a new game from Triple B Titles and published by Yogscast Games, so you know it's certainly going to get some attention, with the publisher coming off the back of recent hits such as Plate Up. In Aces and Adventures, you're going up against the AI in card battles, intertwined with story and deck building, much like similar games in the genre, be that Slay the Spire or Inscription. Although this is where the similarities end with these games. The actual mechanics behind playing Aces and Adventures is a lot more welcoming to new folk joining the genre, as you don't immediately need to know 5,000 cards and what their effects do in what order. In Aces and Adventures, you have a handful of normal playing cards, and a couple of special class cards with abilities on them. Each round you get to make an attack, in which you will make the best poker hand you can from the cards available to you, and deal damage to an enemy based on the number of cards you used. So if you manage to get a 3 of a kind, you deal 3 damage. If you get a full 5 card flush, you deal 5 damage. But the enemy does get an opportunity to defend. They draw a set number of cards and try to beat your poker hand. If they do, you are the one that takes damage instead. Play then flips around with the enemy attacking and you defending, and this repeats until one of you dies. The gameplay is actually really fun. It feels mostly finessed as you have very few abilities, but always feel like you have an option in your gameplay. Although some of the cards feel a little clunky or useless, this was an early playtest, and I've already seen a ton of balancing happen, so hopefully any clunkiness gets resolved. The most enjoyable part of the gameplay for me was collecting these passive powers you get through the game, like relics in Slay the Spire or passive ability unlocks in any roguelike, to be honest, and seeing how they made me rethink the value of my poker hands. You'd get abilities that would reduce incoming damage by 1 for each spade that you had, or increase damage if you used a black suited card, which meant that suddenly a 2 of spades was potentially worth more than a face card of hearts or diamonds. The gameplay loop feels great and remains fresh thanks to these abilities, and it looks like we're getting more of that from the updates I have seen, which is fantastic. There is one more thing I wanted to gush over though, and this is something that really sets this game apart from the competition for me. Clever card games have existed for over 1,000 years now, and while the competition is definitely clever, what Triple B have done is to set a new bar for production value. The entire story is beautifully narrated, with not just one voice actor but a whole cast for different characters. It was honestly hard to stop playing, and while the story is one most of us have heard 1,000 times by now, it is the telling of it that captures your attention and won't let it go.
Stones stand like teeth before a yawning cavern. A black robe hovers ominously over a central altar.
Shield at the ready. Your fate is sealed.
Branch of the life tree. To what end are you wielded?
The simple yet beautiful card art and the text appearing as the effect as the narrator explains the trials and tribulations of the player was something that I wasn't expecting, and truly sets a new bar for the roguelike card game genre for me. So, if you have made it this far through the video, firstly you should subscribe. We are covering some of the best card games out there and super hyped for Aces and Adventures. But also, you should probably join the playtest if you aren't too late. And if you are, then just wishlist this game. It costs you nothing, and honestly, you should give it a go when it releases. This game was really fun. I'll wait a minute while you wishlist it. You have a few more seconds. Okay, wishlist, great, perfect. Now I can get on to my single gripe about the game. There is obviously a little polish and balancing to do. I understand that this is a playtest, and I expect that to be done. That is not the problem. And while I do have an issue with this, it's definitely not big enough that you should go against wishlisting it. Definitely recommend you do that. However, one place this has deviated from the traditional roguelike deck builder that I think kind of squanders the point of the genre is that aspect of deck building. Instead of collecting cards and powers as you go along and building or refining your deck for that run, you get that experience through the power or ability system instead, so just your relics if this was Slay the Spire. The majority of your class deck is constructed before you jump into a run, from cards that you own. So naturally there will be 1 or 2 decks for each class that are the strongest, and if you want a good run, you probably just net deck one of those and run them. One reason I struggled to play games like Gwent, rest in peace, and Hearthstone is that net decking aspect. If you want to have a competitive chance, you have to run a certain deck or two, and that's it. There is little room for fun or flavour or creativity. And that is something roguelike deck builders gave back to me. The ability to run stupid builds because the game is balanced around you not having the perfect deck every time. That being said, this game didn't appear to be super difficult. I only ended up dying on the mage because they are paper thin, and I swapped them out near the end of the run without having any of the powers or cards unlocked. I think you can probably create meme decks and run them with decent results, but that's not the point. You have to create those decks beforehand, there is no story to them, there's no fun or piecing it together or haphazardly finding something stupidly strong by accident, which I will sorely miss from other games. All in all though, Aces and Adventures is going to be great fun. I'm definitely grabbing this one when it releases, and while I have access to the playtest, I'll try and experiment as much as I can, so keep an eye on the channel for more updates from me. There might even be a new video on the game out already, so go check my channel page, and I'll see you in that video.